Hi, good morning. Alumni group for the BizAc. Since everybody is, well, not everybody, but since some people want to do this list building challenge and Daniel is starting kind of to promote it, what I decided to do is I wanted to do a walkthrough of exactly what it is. And I also prepared an Excel sheet that kind of summarizes everything. All right. So I'm just going to walk through this Excel sheet so everybody knows how to use it. Okay, so first, I've recreated all of the milestones on this Excel sheet, and they're listed as MS1, milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, milestone 4. So you can just go through these sequentially. So the first thing you want to do is you want to define what your avatar for this challenge is. Now, your avatar could be a broader audience than what you're actually creating for this list building challenge. The key for this list building challenge is really to be as specific, or as Brian Rose would say, as micro niche as possible. So you define what your avatar is. Okay. The second is you want to kind of um, define the voice of the customer or the voice of your avatar. Okay, so the whole goal of this challenge is really to understand the language that your avatar speaks and how to communicate with them where it registers what you're saying because you're using their language. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to list the 5 most crippling pain points of your avatar, as well as the 5 most important aspirations. Okay, so this is solving a problem where they're frustrated, they're challenged, they can't get something done, and also understanding where they want to be. What are their aspirations? And this is important when you're creating your content in order to lead them through kind of a transformation. The goal is to lead them through a transformation, but the goal in all of your initial sales copy, your headlines, is to actually trigger their imagination so they can actually imagine their transformation. That's why it's also important to talk about their aspirations. The third milestone is really we're going to A B test 3 different types of headlines, because one of the goals, in addition to building an email list, is to really understand what language and what headlines attract your avatars the most. So, what has the highest conversion? And so, what you want to do is you want to create 3 different headlines based on these pain points and aspirations, and and you want to write them down. So, what I've done in this Excel sheet called key milestones is everything in yellow. You just want to delete that and replace it with your own. All right. And then let's see, once you have your 3 problem solving headlines, the next milestone is you want to understand the 3 places where you're going to generate traffic. Okay. So, um, if you feel overwhelmed with this challenge, it's a 10-week challenge. You can choose 2. I'm going to choose 3, but if you only want to do 2, that's of course fine. So this is basically 3 different places where you're going to actually promote the exact same landing page, only with a different title. Okay, this is where you're going to be testing out your 3 different headlines, and you're just going to use different headlines to the different channels. So I'll use this headline for LinkedIn, I use this headline for Facebook, and then I'll use this headline for my meetup group. Okay, so if you have 3 channels, do 3. If you only want to do 2, that's fine also. But there has to be at least 2, otherwise you won't be able to A/B test the different headlines. The 5th milestone is basically your marketing blueprint. And this is where you commit to creating some kind of lead generation content. You probably, whether it's a blog or a video or a podcast, it really doesn't matter. Whether it's posted as a blog to your website, it doesn't really matter. You have to determine how you're going to do this. All right. So I'm going to, yeah, you need to determine how you're going to do this. I need to format something real quick. wrap that text. All right. So in my case, I'm going to be doing blogs, podcasts, and publishing those to YouTube. So it doesn't really matter if you do more than one piece of content. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you're creating some kind of compelling content, valuable content every week for your avatars as part of this 10-week list building challenge. Okay. And then milestone 6 is actually, this is really the hard work. This is creating 3 landing pages with 3 separate headlines, but also doing all the sequencing, which means each landing page has the same call to action. It goes to the same email sequence, whether it's in MailChimp or Kajabi or whatever you're using. So there's some flexibility here as far as what works best for your audience. The really basic thing is, as soon as people give you their name and email address, you send them a welcome message and you build anticipation for the first video. And then you send 3 videos spaced 2 days apart, day 1, day 3, and day 5. This will be email 2, 3, and 4. It basically is giving them the videos. You can use the exact same thing that you learned on the Bizac, where you just put that video into MailChimp, or you can, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my video on a landing page, and each email will send them to the landing page where they can watch the video, and then they can see video 2 coming, video 3 coming. So it'll be grayed out so they can only watch the first video. And then when they come back in 2 days, the second video will be released and they can watch the second video, and so on and so on and so on. So that's really dependent on your level of technical familiarity with the tools and being able to do this. If you're not up to that level, just do what you did in the Bizac, send out 3 videos that are just embedded into MailChimp. And then on day 6, after they've received all the 3 videos, you want to send them kind of like a message to kind of wrap this up and kind of to continue to engage with them. Your goal is to have these one-on-one conversations with them where they're going to make a comment on your video or a comment on your blog, and then you can have a private message with them to find out more of what they need. Try to schedule them on a one-on-one kind of free coaching session or a Skype call or a Zoom call if you can. But what you want to do is you want to develop a habit of sending them 1 email per week in perpetuity. Okay. So day 6, you'll be sent, all your 3 videos will be over, but now you want to start sending them weekly messages just to keep them warm. This is called keeping your list warm. You want to keep them warm. And then the final thing is you probably want to set up some type of analytics. I think MailChimp has the analytics, so you can see where your traffic sources come from. I know Kajabi has it. Depending how you set this up, like if you're doing landing pages with 3 separate landing pages, you may want to set up Google Analytics. That is really up to you, but you want to start thinking about how you're going to track all this. And again, there's no one size fits all. This is not a course where everybody's doing the exact same thing. This is just a framework for us to, number 1, understand how to communicate with our customers, and number 2, build an email list that has 300. And then once you have that 300, then you can use that list and sell them something. All right. This is the calendar that I created. So week 1 starts on January 14th. So this gives everybody a little bit time to figure out exactly what they want to do. The first 5 milestones are pretty simple. They shouldn't take a lot of time. So these major milestones should be completed in week 1. Week 2 is when you complete all of the harder stuff. This is the videos, of course, you can't do the landing pages, and you can't sequence everything until you've recorded the videos. So you have to figure out what are your, what is your own schedule to do this. So there's a lot of things. If you're creating media, you can type it into here. If you're doing a promotional task, you can type it into here. If you're creating content like writing sales copy, you can create it in here. This could be like post-production if you want to post something to iTunes or to YouTube. So whatever it is, you can enter into this calendar exactly what you want to do. And then you can define your own milestones here after you finish the 7 initial milestones. Okay, so this is a 10-week challenge. So for the next 8 weeks, so week 3 through week 10, this is where we're going to be doing all of these things, sending one piece of content out through our channels, trying to get more subscribers. The thing is when you're creating content that you're going to send to people who subscribe after they've received your 3 videos, that content can also be used as content that you send through your social media channels to try to drive traffic to your landing pages. And what we want to do is every week, we want to input the number of emails that you have. Okay, so I currently have 138 people on my email list. So my goal at the end of 10 weeks will be 438. Okay, so the goal of this challenge is 300 additional emails. So it doesn't matter how many emails you start off with. If you have 0, then you just want to get to 300. If you already have 1,000, then the goal is to get to 1,300. And presumably these 300 additional emails, these people will be interested in what you have to say regarding your digital product, and they will be more likely, if you warm them up with value and content, to purchase something that you would eventually want to sell them. All of these friends and family that are on an old email list, I think those are almost meaningless. They can help with promotion, but they're never going to buy anything from you. All right. So this is just a walkthrough of what this is. And I'm going to, again, share this updated spreadsheet in our Facebook group. And I hope everybody embraces this challenge. I guess it officially starts on Monday, but you can start preparing now.